All right. Welcome in, everybody, to A Toast of Film. I'm one of your hosts, Trey.
And I'm one of your hosts, Ebo.
And guys, we have an exciting episode for you today. Eddie, why don't you tell the viewers what we got in store for them?
Y'all, we have a fantastic episode for y'all today. You want to talk about history, you want to talk about big names, big movies. We're going to be talking about two. We're going to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Probably made like $250 million this weekend based on what we have seen. And then also, we're going to be talking about Longlegs. Because I said I am not reviewing Longlegs until I get to talk with my boy about it.
There's just too much content to cover. We're so excited.
And then we're going to be ending with a list. It's a very special list. It's something me and Trey do a lot, where we're going to be drafting. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know about that at the end. But guys, I'm toasting with the Shiner Lemonade Shandy. It's their seasonal. Very good. It's summertime. We got some summer movies. And dude, I'm not mad at this, Trey.
Let me tell you, that is one of my favorite beers for the summertime. I always grab one, at least a 6-pack every summer. They're so drinkable and refreshing.
Well, dude, not just that. I love that little like lemon zest that like pops the back of your mouth when you're finishing it. It's very good aftertaste.
It gives you almost like what a sour would give you without all that bite. You know what I mean?
It's definitely like a mild sour.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, buddy, I am excited.
Well, dude, real quick, this will just take me a few seconds. I just want to bring this one up. So we're going to be talking about two huge movies, okay? Huge accolades, all that. I want to talk about one small movie very quickly. It's called Oddity. So this is from the same director that brought us Caveat, which you and me both liked.
Yes.
And this is about two twin sisters. One of them passes away. She was murdered, potentially, air quotes. But everything's very mysterious around it. The other sister, who's blind, comes to stay, and creepiness ensues.
Yeah.
Much like Caveat, it's very unsettling feeling. It's very, spooky feeling, like when you're watching it, because they're doing all these long shots down empty hallways. The lighting's real low. And you just feel this, sense of dread.
Yeah.
But I will say, not the best theater experience, even though I was in the theater by myself, so that did help. That I was the only person when all these, noises, good jump scares, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like you watch this at home, you turn out all those lights, you get your best friends, maybe a couple of drinks if you're into that.
So
you're going to have it good.
A great movie, but one you don't have to see in theaters.
Yes. And, with us, everything we say, we want people to go to theaters.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if you really want to have a good time, you'll watch this at home. And I feel like you're going to have a much better time.
Probably like Late Night with the Devil, right? Like, it's a movie that's incredible, but that movie felt like a movie we would see streaming. It would have probably had the same kind of reaction.
So, Late Night with the Devil, I definitely think is better at home. However, because it has that feeling of like a TV special, it feels like something like, these Fathom events where they'll do like a one-day showing of something random.
Yeah.
It felt kind of like one of those. So, on that note, I think you should see in theaters, but yes, I think Late Night with the Devil also would be better at home. But this, Audie, I'd give a 3 out of 5 cheers. A 3.5 out of 5 cheers. Sorry.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's getting fantastic reviews. I just looked on Rotten Tomato earlier today. It's still got a 4 or 6 for critics, and it's got an 86 audience.
So there you go. Movies doing, and like I said, it's creepy. You want a good creepy movie.
Yeah. I want to see it bad. I'm very excited to see it when it comes out.
Well, dude, you know what else we wanted to see bad? And it ain't no lie, baby, bye, bye, bye.
Oh, buddy, I'm telling you.
So
This,
Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool 3, whatever you want to call it.
mm-hmm.
Holy Toledo's. Don't worry, no spoilers.
Yeah.
But Trey, what if you had to describe this in one word, what do you get?
I'd say nostalgia.
Dude, I was torn. Nostalgia and joy were the two I was
Yeah.
torn between.
I, those are the two perfect like words for people that have been following Marvel movies since 2000 and most likely, late 20s, early 30s, our age. You'll really get the nostalgia if,
Mhm.
you've been on the ride as long as we have. But just like Eddie said, joy is a perfect word for this movie because the whole movie I was smiling. I
Mm-hmm.
had a big old grin on my face. Kind of gave me the same feeling Thor Ragnarok gave me. It's
Yes.
just, it's a good time. The direction of the movie is good.
Still Sean Levy.
Yeah, Sean Levy.
Still have all the original cast from the first two, aside from what's that dude's name with the curly hair? TJ something.
Oh yeah, TJ Miller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, dude, it's crazy to think because this is an homage, kind of a tribute in a way to not just Deadpool, not just the MCU, but 20th Century Fox, which was bought
Yeah.
by Disney, and all the X-Men movies that have come before. And dude, you gotta think, when the MCU started, we were in high school.
Yep.
When frickin' first X-Men came out, the Two Towers were still around. We
Yeah.
were in elementary, or not elementary, middle. We were in middle school,
Right.
and now I'm damn near pushing 40. You're a
Yeah.
year behind me,
Yeah.
and dude, it's crazy that they were able to give such love to everything that
Yeah.
paved the way for the MCU.
They really did. And there is no bad performances.
Mm-mm.
There's really not even bad CG. Deadpool's always been known to have bad CG, but they poke fun at it. Like they do
Yeah.
that on purpose. But honestly, this movie had solid visuals, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really anything that let me put it this way. This was definitely the biggest budget Deadpool.
Oh,
It,
100%.
it was a massive budget, and they did not blow the budget. I'll put it that way. They did not disappoint us with it.
It looks good, but also, wink, wink, nod, nod. I would love to be a fly on the wall for what the casting budget was.
Oh yes,
Let's just, let's just,
yeah.
you know.
Wink, wink. Well, let me ask you this, because this is something we haven't really talked about.
Mm.
You and me love this movie, and we can go on and
Yeah.
on about this movie, and we're going to come in with our cheers rating at the end, like always.
Yep.
But if you had to tell the audience and the viewers listening any cons, because that's a lot harder than pros. We could go all day. Is there any cons that you have?
I do feel that the only thing I could honestly say this thing suffers from is it's two things. One, I don't even consider it just because you're having such a good time.
Yeah.
One, it is so like all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
It's like an ADH kid's dream, like he's on the ground playing with his toys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everything that happens, you're laughing, you're having a good time, or it's a surprise. Because let me tell y'all, there are some surprises in this movie that y'all are gonna be like jumping for.
Oh yeah.
So that's one con, but like I said, not really a con because they make up for it.
Yeah.
Now, the one con I would say is up here most of the time, but every now and then they'll bring you low, and you start to feel like, it's like you were on a roller coaster, and then you get off, and you get that like adrenaline dump now that
Mm-hmm.
you're off. And it did have a few moments like that I did feel in the theater.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
fair.
okay, let's keep going, guys. Y'all had me up here. Bring me
Right,
back.
right. Now that's a good one. Two good answers. For me, I kind of have an answer like you, where it's a con for me, but I can make a positive out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only one for me is that there was so many laughs in the movie. Okay,
Yeah,
so don't let me take that away from all the
I
hits. I
know
mean,
what you're gonna say.
but there is a point where you're just like, sometimes it feels like a little too try hardy. Like
Yeah.
they're always, but again though, I can honestly spin it into a positive because it's such a small con for me, because there's really just not that many cons in this movie.
Yeah, it's
We're gonna
hard to
say,
find cons.
but I justify that where it's just like so much joke after joke, where it's like, okay, I'm ready just to have some normal linear dialogue, that you're just, it gets a little exhausting at times. But again, I can turn this into positive because he's called the Merc with the mouth. So
Yeah.
they're really just staying true to the comics. So I, even though sometimes it was a little annoying for me, I can't be mad because I'm like, well, this is who Deadpool is. So I can't be
Well,
mad at the
and
character.
even on that note, just going into this movie, you have to understand everything about Deadpool from the first two films is amplified by like an infinite amount.
It
The
really is.
budget amplified by amount. The surprises amplified by amount. The amount of characters amplified. The
Yeah.
cursing amplified. The blood amplified. The
Hmm.
one-liners amplified. So if you don't like Deadpool 1 or 2, like if you hate those, this is
Yeah.
not your movie,
No, it's
because
not.
it is like they are saying, "Hey, look, we're going to bring Deadpool to the MCU. That's all good, but we're giving him one last holy Toledo's, put it
Yeah.
all on the line. Every line you ever wanted to say, every character you ever wanted, whatever you want, put in this movie."
That's right. That is 100%
And dude,
right.
some of the one-liners, man, killed me. Like the one that you and me talked about. Let's just say the TVA doesn't have very good hiring when it comes to their tailors.
Yeah, right.
Like, and there's lines like that you just gotta catch, because that was a
Yeah,
very quick throwaway line, but
yeah,
killed me
yeah.
because you don't expect it.
I will tell you all this. My comedy is, I love to laugh. Okay, I
Mm.
love to laugh, but you know, comedy is so subjective,
Yeah.
and I just feel like a lot of movies miss on comedy. This one did not miss. I was laughing from start to finish.
Mhm.
There was some like laugh out loud moments that I have, which I normally like in, even in comedy movies and theaters, I'll chuckle a lot.
Yeah.
But to actually bust out laughing and like kind of catch your breath a couple times,
Oh,
that's
dude, yeah.
that's rare. And that happened at least twice in this movie, where I was just laughing
Dude,
constantly out loud.
this is the definition of see it with a crowd.
Yes,
Because you see
yes,
this with a crowd of people, like everybody's gonna be having a good time.
right.
And man, there's so much we would like to say, but we can't spoil things because we need folks to go into this.
I would be mad if I heard spoilers going into this
Dude,
movie.
some of these, because me and Trey, putting all our cards on the table, me and him had a few spoilers before we saw it.
Yeah,
But dude, the stuff I didn't get spoiled, like the stuff
incredible.
I got spoiled, when you see it, you're still just like grinning ear to ear.
Yeah,
But dude, the stuff I
100%.
didn't get spoiled, my
Oh,
mouth was on the floor, where I
oh
was
my,
just like, oh.
yeah. Still couldn't believe it. Could not believe it.
Real quick before we get into our cheers rating. I just want to bring this up because we haven't talked about this too much. I mean, obviously, Hugh Jackman does incredible. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds does incredible. But the villain, Cassandra Nova, I hope
Yeah.
that was her name. I'm pretty sure that's her name.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. This is a spur of a moment, me and my boy reviewing for y'all.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Charles's sister. How do you think she did, the actress that played her?
Amazing.
Dude, she had such a... You know what she reminded me of? She reminded me, and not just because she was bald, but just with the way she would, extenuate each word. She reminded me of a younger but more vindictive version of the Ancient One.
Yeah,
'Cause
100%.
everything she says like with a very stern matter of factness.
Her words are very calculated and concise.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't leave anything hanging on the table, and she thinks through everything.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a force to be reckoned with. But just based on the performance,
Cassandra Nova, I was right.
Yeah,
and that's Emma Corrin.
Yeah, she was incredible, just like everyone was in this movie. There wasn't a bad performance. There just wasn't.
Everybody fit, whether it be the the chubby guy with the mug at the TVA.
Yep.
Everybody had a purpose, and I'm excited because at the time of this recording, I'm going to see it a second time tonight. And I'm excited to see, okay, now that I've seen the movie, I can enjoy it again, but also I can look and see, okay, what little Easter eggs did I miss? Because Cassandra, she has villains from all kinds of different movies in there. Some of the younger X-Men movies.
Oh yeah.
The OG X-Men. So definitely excited to check all that out. But my boy, it is cheers time. So what is your cheers?
Oh man, this one's hard, and I'll tell you, I think you don't hear me say this a lot, and you do it more than me, but you really don't do it that much anymore. Is see a movie a second time in theaters.
Yeah.
And this one, I think I will be seeing a second time in theaters. And my only question is, does it hold up the second time? Because my Cheers review was so strong for this movie. Yeah. And I think it will. But I'm going to say that I would put this movie... I have been thinking about this, Eddie, since
I have too.
So I think I'm going to give this movie a 4.8.
Buddy.
Yeah?
That's what I came to the conclusion.
Yep.
So when we were talking, when him and Lil Baby and Peyton got out of the movie, I was like, I had originally said a 5, but that's, you just walked out of the theater, you're feeling it. You got oh my God, I just witnessed that. Yeah. And I said, though, I was like, this is a floor 4.7.
It is.
I could not, on any good terms, go lower than 4.7. But I came down, but I was like, I need to be one floor up from the floor.
Yeah.
And I also landed at 4.8. But I mean, 4.8, a 96.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot get much better, and it can still improve. We got to give it a second viewing. I don't think the movie's going to drop. I'll tell you that. I think it's only going to get better when we see how much replayability this movie has, And it's close to top 10 material for Marvel. Out of all the movies and shows, it's close to top 10. So that should tell you something.
Very close. I think right now I'm sitting at a solid 11 or 12.
Yeah, I know for a fact it's in the top 15 out of probably 35 to 40 movies with shows included. But so you're in the top echelon.
Yeah.
But it just has to go against some insane hitters like Infinity War and,
Dude, the Avengers movies, the original Iron Man. I mean, we're talking about top tier films.
Exactly. So yeah, 4.8 for both me and Eddie, and I think you can pretty much take that to the bank that that rating should hold true for a lot of people, you know.
Well,
But
Trey, I think it's time, my boy.
oh, it's it's time, bud.
Cuckoo.
It is time, man. I'd say we're Eddie, you and me are both pasty whites, man. We don't really have to put on any makeup, bro, you know, to do that long
Thank
legs.
God I cut my hair before we reviewed it.
Oh, bro, you could have easily been long legs
Oh
for
my God. Could you
Halloween.
imagine? I just show up to your folks' house and I go, let me in now. But guys, so Trey, when was that? April, May, somewhere around there. You told me, buddy, look up this trailer, and it's a photo of a family. Seems like your average family. You know, you would see them next door to you.
Yeah.
It's a phone call, and it's to the police, and it's this guy crying saying, "That's not my daughter."
Yeah.
That was it. And then I was watching something in theaters, and they played a teaser trailer for Longlegs. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, dude, holy crap. Let me send that to Trey. And
Yeah.
it was not on the internet anywhere. Which in
Right.
2024, for something to be like not even on the internet, that
Right.
is insanity. So me and Trey, we were like, what is this movie? Like,
Exactly.
and then we got a release date, and we have both seen it. And
Man.
it's, if you remember in Legally Blonde, old David, you know, Oz Perkins, son of the legendary Anthony Perkins from
Yeah.
Psycho. And dude, what a film.
This movie, I feel like we're good to talk spoilers, right? In this
Yes,
one.
so this
Okay.
one has been out longer. So just guys, you know, if you haven't seen it, if you're waiting for streaming, just know spoilers are happening in this because
Yeah.
you know we'd like to give it some time. I mean, this movie's been out for I think 3 weeks in theaters, so
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Longlegs. What an incredible
Where to
movie.
even start? I
I
guess let's start with Maka because that's who the movie's following.
yeah.
So we got Maka Monroe, our girl, and she plays an FBI agent.
Right.
And she is you know, tracking down, the movie opens with her tracking down a serial killer, and then she seems to be targeted by someone who has affiliations with a cult,
Yeah.
and that leads her down a path that, you know, as above so below.
Yeah.
What was in the past is now her future in a way, because it takes her back to her childhood.
Right. Well, let me tell you, she was fantastic in this movie. Maka Monroe is one of my favorite actresses in the game right now, and not because she's one that is in the limelight of A-cast or, you know, Hollywood. It's
Yeah.
quite the opposite. This girl is everything I love. She is a horror fanatic through and through. She loves horror movies, and she wants to stay in that genre. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, I respect that so much because most, especially female actors out there, you know, they're in a lot of movies, you know, some rom-coms, you know, action, adventure, you name it, dramas, but you don't see a lot in the horror community. They just love to stay.
That's what I was gonna say. If they are in horror, they leave it. You know,
Right.
like Jamie Lee Curtis, like Renee Zellweger,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, because horror
Yeah.
is the easiest thing to get into. But
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, I did that. Now people are gonna start casting me. I'm out. But
Right.
she's like, oh, you want me to do this villains movie with Bill Skarsgård? Okay. Oh, you
Yeah.
want to have a movie where somebody's like watching me?
right?
Okay. And I mean, not really horror, but kind of a thriller. She did God as a Bullet. She did The Significant Other, which we love. It Follows, of
Mhm.
course, is what like put her on the spot.
Yes.
So a lot of good stuff. But everybody was wondering about Nick freaking Cage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
First of all, terrifying to look at when you finally see
He's
him.
very unsettling. He's someone that if you ran into in public, you would feel a chill down your spine because you just know that something's off about this guy, and I feel like he would kidnap me and not even
Yeah.
think like something's wrong in the head, you
So
know?
imagine like a 70-year-old rock star that's had like way too many plastic surgeries. And that's what Nick Cage looks like in this because he
Right.
has like the extenuate, like the big cheeks, but then like
Yeah.
the little mouth.
Yeah.
And he's so pasty white. His hair's all stringy and he talks so weird. Oh, look, everybody, it's the birthday girl.
Yeah. It's so
Unsettling.
very unsettling. They knew exactly what they were doing and going for in this movie. And again, another movie where the performances are 10 out of 10s. Like
Yeah.
no one had a bad performance. Nick Cage had some odd lines that people like to like quote and like make fun of and stuff, but it's still excellent acting. Like
Yeah.
it's like I can't say enough good things about those two. And Nick Cage, the one thing I told Eddie before the movie, I was like, Nick Cage can't ever get out of his own way to be Nick Cage. He
Yeah.
wants people to know on screen, I'm Nick Cage, so I'm going to give you my Nick Cage performance. Nick Cage finally gave us somebody who was its own character from the
Hmm.
movie, and he didn't really have to push his own self through that. He
Hmm.
stuck with this horrific and creepy character called Longlegs.
Yeah.
And oh man, I can't say enough good stuff about the performance.
And, one big thing, since spoilers are bound. So this movie, when you go to the core of this movie, it's all about the dark power of the devil
Mhm.
because that is what's leading to these killings. And, her, Making Monroe's mother made a deal with the devil. And what's so scary about that is, you know, Mecca Monroe, she's very successful at her job, but it's because she has intuition. But in reality, she's like, I always feel like something was grabbing me by the shoulder and like pointing my face where to look. And that's because the devil was like literally grabbing her shoulder and
Yeah.
facing her face where she needs to go.
Mhm.
With that, as long as the mom helps with these killings. And
Yeah.
then at the end, when she's trying to like, shoot the doll with a gun, it won't fire because it's on the
Yeah.
devil's terms and the devil doesn't want it to. And we even see like this Baphomet devil like
Yes.
behind her in her room.
All throughout the film. And Eddie,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a video that talks about that. He actually shows up about 8 to 10 times behind the scenes that you never know. And I watched
Holy
the whole video.
smokes.
I can't wait to rewatch the movie. I didn't see half of these. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, because I only saw the one where it's very like prevalent in the bedroom.
I saw three times I saw it, but 8 times, and you see all these videos, it'd be quick. Like the door is opening and it's in caught in the mirror before the door like
Uh,
hits the wall and then comes back, a little bit. It's like quick things, and you're like, oh my god, the devil was everywhere she was.
Jesus, man. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps.
That's what I'm saying, man. They Osgood Perkins, he needs to be well respected
He does.
as a director. Not only did he, if he had the vision of how he wanted to market this movie, that should be studied in itself because it was so good. but the care and detail he put to the story, this is what directors need to be doing. Kind of like the Jordan Peele's, the Christopher Nolan's out there, who, when they work on a project, they put time and care, and they make sure every facet of the movie is grade A material. That's exactly what happened in this. And what's even crazier is that this movie is a small budget movie. It's not that big. And it blew its numbers away opening weekend.
Well, not just that. And I mean, that's typically the trend with horror, you know, smaller budgets, big openings, because you get some folks who want to be scared. But I feel also people need to look at, he wanted to make this a very auteur, like artsy fartsy type film. But he picked and chose when he wanted to do that.
Right.
And I feel like everything he did with that, he chose wisely. Unlike, you know, Kyle Weber Ball with Skin and Marink, where he did too much. This one, like the imagery with
too little,
Nick Cage. Huh?
I said, or too little, some would say.
Yeah, definitely too little. But like the scene with Nick Cage in the car, and then the parallel with Maka in the car.
Yeah.
Or every time something was in the past, it was small screen. So we knew it was in the past and not the present.
Right.
Just little details. But dude, for me, I have to say, I don't think it was a perfect film. I think it was an incredible film.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm kind of stuck. I need to rewatch it to really solidify. But right now, I'm in the 4.7, 4.8 territory. So I'm just going to split it and give it 4.5. Or, I mean, a 4.75.
Bro, solid. So for me, this movie is a 5-star movie for me. I loved everything about this movie. And to me, this is a movie that I will look back in 20 years and be like, this movie defined a generation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like Silence of the Lambs was like the 90s decade horror movie. Like, that was the quintessential horror. I think Longlegs can make a name for itself in that same vein. And because it took a lot of inspiration from amazing movies like Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
But movies like this just need to be studied. They need to be taught more in
film cherished.
Cherished, yes. Like, I loved everything about this movie. And I know this movie's not going to be for everybody. If you don't like demonic horror, you know, you'll rate this movie a little bit lower. But
if
I'm
you
a
want
person
just basic horror, don't want all the, you know, film technique stuff, you might not like it.
Well, and for me, I give this a 5 because it checks all my boxes.
Yeah.
I like detective horror. Mm-hmm. I like, you know, kind of like The Ring. She was an investigative journalist. She had to do a lot of detective work. That movie was incredible. This movie, I also thought was incredible because you're piecing together a story and you're trying to figure out how these murders are connected and how one man is doing this as a serial killer. But
without leaving any trace.
Without leaving any trace. It was so good. It checked all my boxes. I also like paranormal horror. So that was no problem for me. And it was just fun every step of the way. And I'll end with this. It's a movie that won't really creep you out while you watch it. It has creeped me out way more thinking about it after, you know.
Most definitely. The more you think about it, especially, I gotta look that video up about all the sightings of Baphomet. Yeah, because, dude, that's even creepier. Because we already, like, know he's there.
Right.
But for him to be revealing himself that often, that's even more terrifying.
Exactly. Well, is it time for a big hitter, my boy?
You know, Longlegs is only one of the films eligible. So, guys, we are doing something that me and Trey do all the time. We do it on Teams at work. We do it when we're hanging out. We do it over the phone. It is a draft. We pick a subject and we go at it. We draft 5 each. And how it goes is you have pick one. Whoever goes second, they get to do their first and second pick. Then we alternate picks till the person who had pick one picks their fourth and fifth. And then the person who picked two has their fifth. So that way you do get an advantage, both halves. But guys, I got Mr. Snail. You might have heard him from our new segment we're doing, twice a month, Mr. Snail's Pick of the Week. Yep. And Trey, I have something you're very familiar with, and that is a D20, my boy. So, guys, for this draft, all films starring Nick Cage and Maika Monroe are eligible. All films.
Yep.
So, Trey, odds or evens, my boy?
Let's go evens, buddy.
All right. 3. So
what are you choosing?
Dude, I might pay for this, but I'm going first.
Okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, dude, my heart is racing right now because when you go first, everything's available.
Everything.
But guys, I have to think about this. Me and Trey have done these a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I not only have to think about movies I like, I have to think about movies that are top tier. I also have to think about stuff Trey would draft. You have to keep that in the back of your mind when you're picking, because if you think the other person's got to pick it, you got to pick it earlier. So guys, pick one overall. Give me the guess.
Oh my God. Yeah, that one does hurt. I had that on my list. Yep. Okay.
Pick one overall, because I was like, I know Trey's picking this if I don't pick it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I definitely had to guess. And bro, so solid. Yeah. I love that movie. It is so freaking good. That one hurt. That one definitely hurt. But
now you got 2 picks, my boy. So
at number 1, I have It Follows.
Yep. I told myself, I said, if I go guess number 1, Trey's definitely going It Follows with one of his next 2 picks.
Yep.
Which, I mean, incredible film, incredible score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Detroit.
And oh my God, love Detroit. And at number 2, my boy, I'm going Longlegs.
Okay, I can live with this because I got my number 1 makeup pick, and now I'm getting my number 1 Nick Cage pick, which is Con Air, my boy.
That's on my list as well. So solid, buddy. So solid.
So, dude, what do you got number 3, my boy?
Number 3, I gotta pick because I absolutely adore this movie. And it's a loophole.
Oh.
But it's definitely in there.
I bet it's something I have on my list.
Give me Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I'm not straight. Full honesty, that was my next pick.
Yeah. I didn't know how safe I was.
No, so you were good, dude, because that was pretty high on my list. Like I said, I literally was going to pick it next.
Yeah, because I was like, let me go ahead and throw it in at 3 because I don't know. I feel like you would have it as well. And that movie was incredible.
That movie's incredible. And, dude, Nick Cage in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Noir, so good.
Exactly.
Well, dude, for my number 3, you knew this one was coming. Because if there's anything you know about me, you know I love National Treasure.
Yeah. I have it on my list, dude. So solid. Okay. So now I get. Do I get 4 and 5?
No, you get 4, then I get 4, 5, and you get 5.
Okay, that's right.
So I'll have 2 picks after this, so you better pick wisely.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta go with this one because I can't allow it to be scooped up, and I really need more. I got 2 Makas and technically 2 Nick Cages, But for number 4, give me Gone in 60 Seconds.
Ooh.
It is my favorite, aside from Con Air, it's my favorite Nick Cage movie.
Okay, I did not expect that. You got me torn now. Because
Oh,
I had 3 movies I was picking between, and you definitely, I was hoping you were going to pick one, so it'd make my decision. But you didn't. Okay, I'm going to go number 4, give me Significant Other.
God. So I should have taken Significant Other 4 and
And
gone.
then, dude, number 5, because I not only love this movie, but I really appreciate Nick Cage's performance in this. Give me Kick-Ass
Oh, Kick-Ass.
as
Okay.
Big Daddy.
Yay, dude, solid. Well, buddy, every movie on my top 8 is gone now between you and me. So I got to go with a movie that would creep into like B territory. I feel like my top were A territory movies. So I guess with my 5th pick, I've already got a Marvel movie with Spider-Man, so I don't want to go Ghost Rider. Actually, dude, give me The Rock.
Dude, solid pick.
The Rock was another one of my favorite Nick Cage movies. Really good movie with Sean Connery.
So, dude, before I get into a couple of films that I had on my like backup list, just in case, even though it was more than 10, so I didn't need it.
Right.
Let's go through our list real quick. So, number 1, I have The Guest. Number 2, Con Air. Number 3, National Treasure. 4, Significant Other. And 5, Kick-Ass.
Okay. I was hoping you would have Kick-Ass on there just because it wasn't going to be on mine. And I needed to have some that you weren't going to knock off my list. So I was hoping you had some other movies. I also didn't know if you were going to have Ghost Rider.
I considered it. But, dude, your list, It Follows.
Yep.
Longlegs. Into the Spider-Verse. Gone 60 Seconds. And The Rock.
Yeah.
Dude, incredible list. So my only one I'm sad I couldn't squeeze in was Pig.
Dude, Pig, yeah.
Because Pig was on my list as like a backup.
Yeah.
And I'm very sad it couldn't get on there. But
I thought Pig as well. I honestly am surprised you didn't take because I felt like that was one you were gonna snag. But when I had my backup list, and to me, The Rock is right around that time with like Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds, where Nick Cage was at his peak during that time.
Top Nick Cage.
He's coming up to a new peak with older Nick Cage.
Yeah.
But younger peak Nick Cage was just unprecedented.
Now we got crazy Nick Cage, like Color Out of Space, Longlegs, Pig, where he's getting very experimental.
Exactly. And there's a lot of other good ones. I mean, Nick Cage, obviously, his list goes on further than Maka's, but you had Willy's Wonderland, like you said, Color Out of Space. You had Mandy. Arcadian. There's a lot of good movies.
Dude, The Croods 2.
Yeah.
And then from Maka, dude, had Villains, had Watcher.
Yeah, well, I know. I thought about that one too, man. There was so many hitters, man, that we could have done. All those movies we named, I wouldn't have been mad at any of those on this list. But then there's just a top 5 quality that you gotta squeeze,
And dude, I mean, when we first started doing these, I was going more with like the heart versus the head. And then you'd be going with the head. And so when we'd get to the end and I'd look at our list, I'm like, oh man, like you asked like 100 people, they're going to pick Trey's list all day. And, it's made me really up my game where now like you got to take a lot of things into effect.
Yeah, you really do. But bro, your list was solid as well. I mean, when you think peak when you think best Nick Cage, I feel like you have to think Con Air is it. And
Yeah.
you stole a big hitter off of mine. And the guess, bro, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That one
First overall, I was like, if I get first, I wrote a note where I was like, if you get first overall, the guess no matter what.
Yeah, because dude, guess would have easily been at least number 3. Could have been higher on my list, but that is so funny, man. Solid list, dude. Solid
Same.
drafts.
But guys,
Solid.
we reviewed some movies for you. We gave you a draft, and we just thank y'all for listening. And if you want to let us know what you think, maybe you can let us know who won the list battle. 2 solid lists. There's so many ways you can do it, but let me tell you the best ways. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, A Toast to Film, all one word, or hit me up on Twitter at film_toast. And from Trey and myself, we just wish you a good night and good viewing.
Good viewing, everyone. Thank y'all.
My boy.
Dude.